says, many people getting married have had a sexual past before their spouse. The church has done a good job of explaining why it's not God's ideal, but how vital is the process of breaking the emotional and spiritual ties to past partners, and what practical advice would you give on how to do that? Anybody want to jump in?
Good. Christina?
That's good.
You even had to start it again.
Whoa. How vital is the process? Well, I think it's extremely vital.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, if you want your marriage to start off the right way, they're not actually asking about, they're just saying previous partners.
Yeah.
So whether you were married before or not, I guess is the same. But yeah, you definitely have to leave the past in the past. You can't feel guilt or shame over whatever was in your past. You just have to start fresh and ask God to just help you see things through fresh eyes and to be able to give yourself fully to your new husband or wife.
Mm-hmm. Only thing I would add to that, just when I read the question, is there could be a concern that they're struggling with it, and how can you help them be free of that? And my biggest concern is going to be, but are you fully free of it? Like if you're holding on to baggage and unforgiveness and all of that for what your spouse has done in their past, but you're wanting them to be free of it, you got to be free of it too. That's important for you. You have to be free of it. And so going through the same process we talked about resentment and forgiveness and extending grace, and what does God do for you in terms of pursuing you, regardless of how often you reject Him, and regardless of how often you refuse to correct your behavior or correct yourself. That's the example we're given. So I look at it and go, make sure it is important. It is important. It's a piece of freedom that's needed, but make sure on the spouse side of that equation, right? The advice that I give is make sure you're not harboring issues with their past. Does that make sense? Everybody nod your head if you're with me. Don't harbor things on their past. If you expect them to be free, you have to be free of it too. So that's kind of the only thing that came to my mind.
One thing I might add to that would be, with the whole realm of the sexual sins, and Matt talked about it in the series as well a couple weeks ago, is the sexual sin is created it's done against the body. It's internal. And so that's really the issue here is, oftentimes in our society, we don't want to talk about our sexual past as even being a sin. It's just who I am. And what we have to come to grips with the fact is that our brokenness is as a result of sin. Yeah. We are sinners. And so this breaking free of that is helping us to understand, number one, we have to even identify the fact that we're a sinner and broken in the first place. And if we don't acknowledge and come to our relationships with that understanding, even if you got married because of an adulterous relationship and you married the woman or the man that you're having an adulterous relationship with, you started your marriage in sin. And so there can be brokenness there that needs to be healed. Yeah. And so healing actually starts with the confession that there was actually something wrong in the first place. So I would just add that we have to be open and honest about our brokenness, or there's never going to be any healing.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good.